listening to Fitz on Sports Podcast Edition. Here's your host, Sean Fitzgerald. Hey everyone, how's it going? Sean Fitzgerald here from Fitz on Sports. I know I would have rather preferred to try and do a live stream, but my voice is it's not very good right now, as you can probably hear, trying to get over something at the moment. So I'm recording this in small chunk segments so I can handle being able to talk. I was on Brandon's World today. It was just a special edition kind of thing. So if you want to check that out, I will link that in the description below. This is on YouTube for today. SoundCloud, I don't have a ton of free space left on there, and being the cheapskate I am, I'm trying to hold off just a little bit longer before I get more so a paid, not like subscription, but start paying to actually get more storage space on SoundCloud. But for right now, let's just jump into things. So what have I been up to? One of the things I've been doing, if you didn't hear on Brandon's World special edition show today, is that over the summer I did a lot of things. I went through some physical therapy rehab. I won't hash it all out here, and did a lot of baseball related stuff. But other than that, I kind of just took the time to just decompress and chill out and be able to do some fun stuff, such as the Joe Schobert podcast I did that's on SoundCloud. I've been trying to get some other bigger interviews as well. Not saying Schobert wasn't. Schobert was a big interview, but trying to get some big interviews along with him. So I'm hoping I can do some more stuff like that going forward, but we'll see what happens with that. In regards to other things, I did write some articles. I've definitely been loving Where Things Stand edition of MLB that I am making an NFL edition. It'll be 4 parts. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And then really looking forward to this year, I am going to tentatively be partnering. I just say this because nothing's a guarantee in making a show on BSR, but tentatively I'm going to be partnering with Enzo Orlando to form Pass the Mic with Fitz and Enzo. So that's going to be the part of my new show, and it'll be basically me, Enzo, going in together. There'll be some elements from both of our shows, and some of the elements, I should say, are very similar, and there will be some tweaks and a few other kind of alternating things that are going to be put into there. In regards to what day we'll be back on air, my hope is that we get the Friday noon to 2 slot. Don't know for sure yet if we'll get it, but we'll see how things happen. We have a few other slots that we list as availability, and if someone needs it more than us, hey, you do not cut out a good show. And we always want to have good shows here on BSR, or I guess this is not Black Squirrel Radio's platform, but more so I'm just saying this in generality. And by the way, I apologize in advance if these cuts sound really awkward. As I said before, my voice isn't up to par, so I'm trying to record things in smaller chunks, so that way I can put this out. And with that said, let's just jump into a little bit of baseball. So during our discussion about Francisco Lindor and his contract, we were talking about how the fans always take the side of the players and wanting to get them paid and give them the money, and how they never support the owners, and they should, because they know what's best, they know the payroll and everything like that. What I said was that the fans support the front office. What I meant to say is that they support the front office in the way that they trust them to make the right decision. And that they were not, and this was a part that I did not get to say, is that they don't trust the Dolans in order to really pony up money. Well, I think fans trust the front office, but they don't trust the owners and the Dolans to pay a contract. And what really should be happening is more so that the players should it's been expanded already. The market's been expanded. But that the players are asking for so much, it's kind of unrealistic for the Tribe to be able to spend so much money on Lindor versus trying to calculate for all their other needs. So I didn't mean to come off as I did. It's just not a clerical error. Just I misspoke a little bit right there, so I wanted to clear the air on that. However, I am very impressed with what the front office did with Trevor Bauer and the trade that brought us in Yasiel Puig and Franmil Reyes. I'm really happy with Puig right now. I mean, he's brought a flair that you haven't really seen before in Cleveland. It's not like just on the baseball field, just the baseball field before everyone gets the pitchforks out and says, Baker Mayfield, do not crucify me. Okay? That's one thing. And then just having Reyes, who's a monster with just pure raw power from the right-handed side, and we have not had a ton of right-handed hitters who can hit with pop that I can recall in like a lot of the years, because a lot of them have been lefties or switch hitters, and now being able to balance out the lineup with Puig, Reyes in there, and being able to basically make things, fall just the right way, makes things a whole lot easier. Now, I would like to see them try to re-sign Puig. However, it just became a lot harder when they traded for him since the qualifying offer was removed. So it's going to free up his market a little bit. However, I could still see a scenario with them declining Kipnis' option this offseason, because Jason Kipnis, I believe it's 17 or 16 million he's going to make with a 2 million buyout. So basically 15, 14 million in savings. And then Trevor Bauer's ARP salary gone. And then let's say you do exercise Kluber's option, even though that's about 17 million in extra cash that you could save, and then maybe do the same thing with Kipnis, except resign Kluber for a longer term with a little extra money, just not the same level. That I think you could still reasonably resign Puig if things fall the right way. And there's a way that I think that maybe 12 to 15 million for like 3 or 4 years, that could work out pretty well. Now, the Tribe may have other plans, especially if they got other young prospects. I'm forgetting all of our outfielders aside from Bradley Zimmer down in AAA and everything like that, or that are on the mend. And then, of course, just really, if you feel strongly that Puig would be better off elsewhere, if this was just like, a few month thing, I mean, I'm fine with it either way, but I'm hoping that, like, Puig just made baseball fun and people just got so excited. And then I'm looking forward to the future with Reyes, because he's basically, I view him as like a big poppy kind of guy. Not necessarily personality, but just that he can hammer the ball. He can just do things that I have not seen a right-handed hitter do in a long time at Progressive Field. I mean, he is just a monster in pure raw power. Reyes is just something else. I mean, he already led the team in home runs when he got acquired, which is amazing in itself. But even if he hits for like 250, 260, 30 plus home runs, 80 plus RBIs, I'd consider that a long-term win during that trade, especially since he doesn't hit ARB until I believe after the 2021 or 2022 season. That's a big win for the Indians organization to get that, along with Puig for the stretch run. I know it would have been more meaningful if Jose Ramirez hadn't gone down with a hamate bone injury, but if you get Ramirez back during the postseason push, I mean, I think that makes up for almost all of the time he's going to miss, especially if you make it in and you get either the wild card, or especially this would be the icing on the cake. Beat the Twins out for the division and have that little bit of not having to play that extra game and have maybe an extra day or two of rest before having to actually play your first game of the playoffs. And I want to know your guys' thoughts. Let me know in the comment section down below. But moving on, we're going to do a little bit of Browns talk. Now, I want to know how excited you guys are for the season. What, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at? Because right now I'm at a 10. Like, I've not remembered for the longest time this like fever pitch of having to see football every weekend prior to last year for the first time in a long while, because my spirit was crushed a few years ago when the Cardinals came to town. McCown, Duke Johnson, and co had the Browns up at the time just before halftime, and then Carson Palmer and Bruce Arians and co just basically came in and destroyed the rest of the hopes and dreams in the second half. And really, it's just a revival. You got your franchise QB in Baker. You've got a lot of big personalities, a lot of great talent in Odell, Jarvis, Miles, Denzel, Richardson, Vernon. I can name a lot of others. Hunt, Chubb. And I know this was something that me and Brandon touched on, was how well will Freddie Kitchens be able to manage as a first-year coach, all the personalities, and that this could be a little bit of a, challenging year for Freddie, but I think he's got this. It's not that he's incapable. I think there will be some rough patches, sure, but Overall, I'm really happy because when I was at training camp, I was there as a media member. I got to walk around the sidelines a little bit, not like with the players, but just like towards like the end zone sidelines. If you get what I'm saying. If you were in Berea this past July, early July, middle to early August, and really, it's just such a different atmosphere around there. And even Joe Schobert kind of touched on that in our podcast, our mini pod together. There's just something different about this team. And I hope that it doesn't fade and that this is all a mirage because I'm hoping that this kind of dream can last for years. I'm really just so optimistic that I'm afraid that I'm going to let myself down. So I want to hear from Browns fans out there. What do you think is going to happen this year? I want to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below. And then finally, I guess this is just more so a question for you all. What do you want to see more from me? Do you want to try and see if I can land more podcast interviews? Do you want to see more written article content? Do you want to have like more like know to get to know me kind of stuff? What is it that you want to know more about me? What is it that you'd like to see me put more out of? And just really, I'm looking for just suggestions or improvements, whatever the case may be. Because without you all, I wouldn't really be in this position to be able to do this stuff. So I'm just kind of putting, I'm trying to reach into my whole lexicon of a dictionary in my head, and it's not working today, but I'm just looking for, suggestions, advice, whatever the case may be with the word I'm looking for. But with that said, I'm going to end the podcast here. Thank you so much for listening, and hopefully I get to do a live stream sometime soon. And keep an eye out for whenever our show announcement comes up. It will definitely be on Fitz on Sports. It'll be with Pass the Mike's account at pass underscore the underscore Mike underscore. So keep an eye out for that, and I will see you all later. Peace out, and have a great Labor Day weekend.